Hello, I'm Patrick Osio with Transporter Communications. We're standing right in the main drag of Rosarito Beach. We've all heard reports in the United States about the lack of security, so we came here to talk to Americans to see how they feel about it. As you can see, however, there is a lack of tourism here. The streets are nearly empty, whereas usually they're bustling and hustling with people. But we're going to find out from the Americans here what is the real situation.
In relationship to security, there's much being said in the United States right now about the lack of security on the Mexican side. Your experience living here, have you felt insecure? How was that affected?
No, I don't feel insecure. I see all the same stories that everyone sees. But I lived in a big city all my life, and I understood, as most people do, that there are neighborhoods that are not safe. There are times when you should or should not be in a particular place, and you factor that into your life without really thinking about it. So really, I feel perfectly safe here. I would not drive certain places at night, but that's just common sense to me. And I think that crimes, car thefts and burglaries and those kinds of things occur in any city or town. It's not just here in Rosarito. I'm also very pleased that we have new mayors in the 5 cities of Baja Norte. We have a new governor of the state, and we have in Mexico a president who has been in office for 1 year. And all of those men seem to be taking this issue very seriously. And so there are local, state, and federal resources being aimed at this problem. I'm confident that they're going to deal with it successfully.
In the question of security, there's a lot of talk about personal security, the safety, etc. Your experience living here has been?
I haven't had any problems. The things that you hear about, they seem to make a really big deal about when something happens, but I'm sure that there's all kinds of things that happen in the States that don't even make it in the papers. It's just when one thing happens in Mexico, it gets exploited and it gets portrayed as, being something that happens all the time. But I think there's probably a lot more crime in downtown San Diego and parts of Los Angeles than there are in Tijuana and Baja in general.
Well, you live here along the coast. Have you had any personal experiences, bad experiences with security?
No, not with security, no. Complex that I live at has 24-hour gated security. I've never had problems driving my car, going to the mall, going to the market, parking along the ocean, going for a walk, and, nothing's happened.
Do you have friends here? Are they also feel secure? Are they having problems?
No, not with security. You hear about a break-in once in a while at different complexes, but that stuff happens everywhere. That's not, specifically unusual for Baja.
Mm-hmm. So from a standpoint of security, lately there's been a lot of talk about security, that there's personal security involved. Mm-hmm. The relationship of that, have you gotten calls from Americans in the United States worried about this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my mother is still in Colorado, and she called me from Colorado and told me that she had heard that things were getting a little unsafe in Baja, and she was worried about me. And then we also have family in San Diego, and they've been reluctant to come down to Baja because they felt unsafe. But as a resident here, my husband and I have never experienced anything that has to do with crime, and we've never felt unsafe, and we've never known any friends of ours that have had a problem down here.
Well, would that indicate that there's, obviously there is a problem, but does it indicate the possibility that there is somewhat of a hyper situation taking place in the U.S.?
Well, yes, I think so. I think it's sort of taken out of context because there is crime going on down here, and if you are a Mexican and you're involved in illegal drugs, I think that you should be concerned about your personal safety. But just like in the U.S., we don't communicate, we don't get involved with people who are involved in illegal activities, and so we don't feel threatened at all. And it's really the same as what you might experience up in the States.
Yeah. So to your mother you said, don't pay the ransom, I'm okay?
Exactly. I told her not to worry.
What would you recommend to Americans to do then?
Well, I would recommend that they really get to the details of the facts that are of what's happening in Baja. The crime is not being targeted at Americans. Americans, I think, are safer here even than they are in the United States.
From the actions that you've seen the local authorities as to regarding the crime, do you feel satisfied that they're doing a good job in attempting to stop this crime wave?
I think they're doing an excellent job, and I think their motivation is that the investment dollars that are gained in Mexico from Americans is so important to them that they're doing everything in their power to reduce crime. And there have only been a handful of instances that I'm aware of where crime has been committed against Americans, a very small percentage. And the Mexican government always jumps right on that, and they make changes in the way that they work on the toll road, and they make changes in their guard, whether it be the police or the federal officers, to make sure that those crimes don't happen again.
And here, you've been hearing in San Diego that there's a security problem in Tijuana, in Baja California. What is your take on that?
I've never had any problems with security at all, and you just have to just be with normal people. You don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I've never had any problems with security. In the security, again, going back into the security situation, in the Union Tribune, the San Diego Union Tribune, almost on a daily basis, we are treated to articles telling us that it's really, or not saying it outright, but suggesting that it's not quite safe. How do you address that? I believe with the security problems, what the Union Tribune is quoting is things that have happened weeks before over a long period of time, and they're just reusing it over and over again. Things do happen even in the United States, but they don't really go over and over with that kind of a news.
There's the other subject in the United States at present time, and that is one of security for the people here. Yes. You read on a daily basis that there's some kind of a security problem here. How has that affected?
There have been a number of articles that have been picked up in the Los Angeles Times and the San Diego Union that were isolated incidences. I live in a very nice location in the Southern California market, but I can drive 2 or 3 miles, and there are parts of the town that I would not go through. And the number of incidents in that location is much, much greater than the incidents that have happened down here. The thing that I'm most impressed with is that with the new president, the new mayors, the governor, all have gotten together and have said, we are going to address some of the security issues that have been down here for some time, and they have held their word. They have moved in that direction. So the recent events taken by the president, the governor, and the mayors in the Baja region here are encouraging. And so we are going through a process right now of eradicating those security problems that have existed down here previously, and I'm very, very confident that in a reasonable amount of time that they'll go away. And as I said before, in comparison to other parts of the United States, these few incidents that occur down here are minor in comparison.
Most Americans, then, you feel that, that live here along the coast that you know of, feel fairly secure?
Yes. My wife drives down here by herself. She brings her 2 children. A lot of our friends drive down here all the time. People that have been coming to Mexico for a long time, it has not been a concern. I think when people who have not come to Mexico and they read some of the incidents in the paper, it's probably disturbing to them. I recognize that there was an article recently about a surfer who had an issue down here. Been surfing down here for 20, 25 years, and know a lot of people that have. We've never had any problems down here.
What would you